There's a thing called MKUltra. They use psychotropic drugs and to influence people and brainwash them. It was a CIA operation, and they took people and just turned them into machines. And to me, that begs the question, is something like that still going on? Because I don't trust them to tell me the truth.
After everything that you've dug into, both of you guys, what was this? Is it lone wolves coming after him, or is this orchestrated from the left?
Yeah. I honestly don't know yet. And one of the things that I still want information on that I think is going to definitely help answer that question is these bank accounts and whether or not he did indeed have offshore bank accounts with a lot of money in them. Because based on, pattern of life and the type of job that he had and the family that he came from, I think he was just working at a little store. If he did have overseas bank accounts with a good amount of cash in them, that's going to be a massive red flag, that he was working with somebody. And so we don't know yet. But again, without subpoena power, it's tough to get the witnesses, in there that, can answer questions.
There's a thing called MKUltra. They used to say that's, it's bogus, but it's a reality. It's been documented. I think there's been lawsuits because of it. They use psychotropic drugs and to influence people and brainwash them. And I think it ended in the 60s, maybe 63 or something. It was a CIA operation, and they took people and just turned them into machines, basically, or tried to. And of course, they said it didn't exist, and then they got popped, and then they were forced to make that it did exist. And to me, that begs the question: is something like that still going on? Because I don't trust them to tell me the truth. So many billions float. The Pentagon right now can't count for $500 million in assets. I mean, what is that? A battleship?
Yeah.
So we're awash with money to do something with, and there's some people in this world, in this government, that are pure evil.
But and on top of that, though, Shawn, I do want to say to answer your question, I do think that there is, at the very least, I do think there was a desire to weaponize the mainstream media outlets to radicalize American citizens against the president. I mean, come on, man. You can only call somebody
Hitler
a threat, a threat to democracy, or, he's like a modern day Hitler so many times before somebody feels the moral obligation to do something about it.
Yeah, magazine cover of a national publication that has a picture of Trump with a Hitler mustache.
Right. I mean,
and this goes back to my point about MKUltra. Maybe they're not bringing in somebody off the street and doing this too, but they know if they put enough of this thought process out there, there's enough kids or misfits or something that are going to do something. And this guy, though, he's a North Carolinian, lived in Hawaii, but comes down to Florida, sits on a golf course, and he's going to take out Trump. How does that happen? How does this guy do this? This guy's got all kinds of these international connections. He's been busted before for federal firearms violations. And then they don't even charge him with attempted murder. They charge him with possession of a firearm of a felon, and then I think altering the serial numbers on the gun. And so this is what they've just charged him with, apparently. So, and then the reports that I got, they haven't even charged him with attempted murder. So, again,
they haven't even charged him with attempted murder.
The last report I saw, that could change. And, I don't know jurisdictional. Maybe they can get more of a charge out of a altered firearm by federal violation. I don't know. But, and two, I've always said this: Americans want their pizzas in 30 minutes, and that's about our dadgum attention span. And they won't even talk about the first assassination attempt. People are allowed to joke about, how it was fake and, he didn't hit his ear and how does his ear heal so fast and all this other stuff, and they're allowed to talk about that and joke about it now openly. And so this one, my local newspaper in Knoxville, apparently wasn't even in it. It wasn't even on the front page of it this morning. So, which I don't take, by the way. I don't take that paper. But they, they just want it gone and move on.
Hey, I do want to say something about yesterday, though, and the story that's been put out there, because I know a lot of, and I'm sure you're probably in the same boat, probably you too, Tim. A lot of my best friends are in law enforcement, right? And if the story that I heard yesterday was correct, that, a Secret Service agent spotted this guy with, sticking his weapon through the fence, and then he was proactive and actually engaged this guy. I want to give that guy kudos and props.
100%.
Because anybody who's ever had to, it's even overseas, I know of instances where guys were shot at and they'd never shot at anybody before. And so there was a pregnant pause, and it took them a second to actually do what they were trained to do because, they knew, it was so new to them. And so it would be much different if you have to do that on U.S. soil than like Fallujah or, Mosul or whatever it is. And so I know that a lot of people, look at us going after the head shed of the Secret Service and because that institution clearly needs a massive overhaul. And I just want to say that I know there's a lot of awesome men and women, not only in the Secret Service, but in many of our other institutions who are sick and tired of seeing, these institutions become political, become biased, and not focused on what they're actually supposed to do. And so I want to make sure that that's said and clear, that we do appreciate you guys. Yeah, those of you out there that are still trying to do a very difficult job. And you can help us. You guys can help us, transform these organizations by whistleblowing to us. And I know it's not comfortable, and I know that you're risking a lot when you do it. And I think you should be selective about who you talk to. But I just want to make sure that that's said because
here's a question for you then.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people probably don't know where to go to blow the whistle. So if they do have information, Secret Service, FBI, CIA, whoever, where do they go to blow the whistle? Where do they go to get your attention?
Yeah, they can,
so that they know they will be heard and somebody has their back.
Yeah, they can call my office. We also posted a tip line on when we did that hearing up in DC. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but if they call my office, somebody on my staff will take down their information. And if they don't have the number to my office, there's an app called Bill Blaster, and you can get every single senator's, every single member of Congress's information and call them directly in their office.
That's called Bill Blaster.
Bill Blaster. And it's you don't have to just use it. Please don't just use it for that. Like if you see a piece of legislation coming up that you're fired up about, or you want us to vote a certain way on, please engage your member of Congress, because you'd be surprised, Shawn, that actually does work. It doesn't work if 5 or 10 people do it, but if a couple thousand people do it, and we walk into our office going from one committee hearing to the other and like, hey, we're getting blown up right now about this CR with the SAVE Act or this FISA bill or whatever it is. And then it's like, okay, well, what are people saying? What are you hearing? There are members of Congress that listen to that. And for the ones that don't, you can apply enough pressure to where they'll think twice about, selling you out if you get loud enough.
And I would caution, though, on the whistleblower, just reiterate what Eli said, be careful who you talk to.
Yeah.
And I would be careful about leaving messages, and I would face-to-face it if you get the opportunity. Yeah, I would think I'd just be cautious. Since I've been in Washington, I remember I always give the example. My wife and I a buddy of mine's in the trinket business, whatever, I don't know what you call it, swag. And we were talking about these little red Solo cups that had some made out of aluminum. And I just thought that's the coolest thing. And both of us, within 30 minutes, what we have on our phone, ads for red Solo cups. And that's not so much when you call in your congressman's office, but I just think there's ears and eyes everywhere up there. I just don't think we are scratching the surface.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.